another edition of Hartford Community Leaders. Hey, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a relative that we are on the air. We got some great topics to talk to you about, strengthening our communities, and we'll be talking to you a little bit about different various topics on today. Also, we want to take this opportunity to thank our staffing who brings us great quality programming each and every week here at Hartford Public Access and Hartford Community Leaders Talk Show. All right, so we're going to get started here. We got a host of announcements to get out to the public on today. And thank you for tuning in on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, out there. Thank you. If you have a question during the course of this programming, you can always type in your question for our guests. Today, we have two special guests with us. First special guest, we have Mr. Mark Jenkins, the founder and CEO of the Greater Hartford Arms Reduction Coalition, and that is located on Albany Avenue. And he's going to be talking about opioid overdose awareness and prevention, which is a highly topic subject for today in our communities. And so we're here with Mr. Mark Jenkins. How you doing? All right. Hey, Mark, we're going to jump right into it because we got a lot of guests that's just tuning in right now on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're going to jump right into our talks. How detrimental is this problem that we're facing in our community with opioid overdose?
Well, to put it in perspective, nationally, right now, approximately 175 people die daily as a result of opioid overdose.
Wow.
In the state of Connecticut, for the past couple of years, in 2016, we experienced about 917 deaths as a result of fatal overdose.
Wow.
And that number has increased by about 15% to 2017, which, and I believe some of the numbers are still because of the backlog of toxicology reports from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. But at last count, we were at like 1,036 fatalities.
Wow.
And unfortunately, Hartford has the dubious title of having the highest amount of fatal overdose in the state.
Wow.
So we lead it, and although the south end, the Frog Hollow area, it has the highest concentration of fatalities. Disproportionately, it affects our community, as well. Just to put it mildly, just too many deaths.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're still not putting a significant enough dent in the amount of fatalities. And it just speaks to the bureaucracy and how slow the process is, really. And I also go as far even to say, even for us here in Connecticut, being more of a puritanistic, state, that a lot of processes and things that may work just have for so long not been at the table. It's like we're just not going that way. So, but yet we know just say no doesn't work.
Right.
Just say no doesn't work, and we can't continue to use punitive outcomes to try and curb this epidemic as well, because again, punitive actions only punish.
Right.
There's no positive outcomes that we've seen to date. So there's a lot to be done.
And tell us a little bit how you got started, reaching out to the community, and your organization, how it got started.
Greater Hartford Harm Reduction was found pretty much out of necessity. having done frontline engagement of active and illicit drug using populations, marginalized populations over the past 20 years, I saw where outreach to the drug using communities began to dwindle, so much so that we went from at one point, 11 or 12 on the street active in Hartford to at one point actually none, or maybe one, and that was just HIV. There is another syringe exchange that's active in Hartford, but still no feet on the ground engagement other than maybe to homeless populations for shelter, but to engage people to try and reduce the amount of harm. And that's where we come in. We are the only harm reduction agency by mission, vision, and value. And what we mean by that is, as a harm reductionist, it's my job, it's my duty, my calling, my ministry, if you will, to help individuals reduce the amount of harm they cause themselves and their communities as a result of illicit drug use.
Right.
Okay. And that comes in various different forms. Really, sometimes it's just all about someone having a smile, me giving someone a smile and a hug.
That's right.
And saying, you know what, I know where you're coming from, because as of April 6th this past year, I celebrated 21 years without the use of minor mood-altering drugs. Right. So we say 21 years clean,
right.
But we also have to watch some of the language, because to say I'm 21 years clean suggested at one time I was dirty. But if I want to say that, but you had to know me 21 years ago, Deke. If you did, you probably wouldn't mess with me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I want to say it, it's okay. But no, really, just it's a passion for the work that separates us and how we engage people.
Right. Yeah. And so you have an office located on Albany Avenue.
We have an office in the Colin Bennett building at 1229 Albany Avenue.
And what are some of the services that you provide?
A wide range, we're seeing, I'm laughing because, when I say what we provide, we're seen as enablers. Harm reduction is enjoying, and I don't even like to use the word enjoying, but we're benefiting from a little more acceptance right now, only because so many people are dying.
Right.
But syringe exchange was where harm reduction got started. Harm reduction got started as a result of the epidemic, the HIV epidemic.
Right.
So some of the things that we provide are to make sure people have sterile syringes, because we know wherever the presence or prevalence of access to sterile injection equipment, the incidence of HIV transmission as a result of intravenous drug use drops significantly.
Right.
So syringe exchange is one thing that we do to make sure people have intravenous drug use kits.
Right.
We have safe crack kits. And that's another one. People go, boom, crack kits? What do you mean? Well, while we're talking about the opioid epidemic, we don't realize that the incidence and high risk associated with crack use and the prevalence of crack use in our community is still huge.
Right.
It hasn't gone away. And, there are safe sex kits to make sure people have access to, items that work. Everything that we do is about reducing barriers and keeping people healthy until they can hear a message of recovery.
Right.
So some of the things we do.
And I know you're on the streets, passing out kids and talking to people, and working with different individuals. What are some of the response of the work that you've been doing?
It's been welcomed. A lot of the work that we do is necessary. Not always popular,
Right.
but necessary. one of the things we've done, as a matter of fact, we're the only community-based organization in the state that has offered right here on Albany Avenue an overdose prevention and education and access to free naloxone right here in Hartford for over 2 years now. You know, and it's unfortunate because we constantly get the word out, but again, the people who overwhelmingly take advantage of that service are not from our community.
Right. That's right. And I know when I was in the training, I seen people from West Hartford, all the different areas, and so I took the training. I think it was last year. Yeah, the last year I took the training and got my nice little my little paperwork there, and my little Narcan kit, and it was great, and I want to ask everyone, if you haven't signed up, make sure you sign up, and it's every Thursday, right?
Every Thursday, 7 o'clock, 1229 Albany Avenue.
And tell us a little bit about what you cover in this training.
It's an overview, a brief overview of harm reduction, how we came to be, and then we get into education on overdose and really try to, reduce some of the stigma associated and talk about, how do we get where we are, and that, well, we know how we got where we are, and why this became an epidemic. It's not always a popular response, especially coming from a black man, to say it wasn't because, it's because white people started dying. So it's right. Digestible a lot more when someone from that demographic makes that statement versus when I make the statement, I'm kind of like an angry black man, but we talk about various things of how to stay safe. We know that just say no doesn't work, so we talk about what people should look for in case of an overdose, the signs, the symptoms, the various, what naloxone works on, like only opioids, not stimulants, not psychotropics, not benzos. But these are some of the things. We talk about polysubstance use, about people, if they are going to use, not using together, at the same time. If they're using together, take turns. Because so many times now we hear in the news about a child finding both parents dead,
Yeah, and one of the things that I think that the community, I think they're scared to kind of get education, around that whole subject, to inquire and to kind of like come into your organization and say, hey, I would like to get more information, and your doors are always open. Yeah. Open. And, we got so many churches out there that have, individuals inside the church who is faced with, opioid overdose and, drug use in their families, in their homes. And some of the churches should take advantage, right?
Listen, stigma prevents a lot of access to the information. Yes, the church should be leading the charge. They really should, and not just on this issue.
Right.
I don't have to tell you. Right. But it's still the mental picture of who overdoses is what perpetuates that stigma. When you think of someone overdosing, I don't think of this brother here as being that individual or this young lady here. However, the United States makes up 5% of the world's population, but we consume upwards of 80% of the world's prescription drugs.
Right.
This epidemic started as a result of overprescribing.
Right.
And the first place people look when they go for a pill generally is in a friend or a relative's pill cabinet.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a question out here. It says, how many people have come back clean and really stopped taking drugs? That's one of the questions that you know of.
The first one, sitting right here.
All All right. So, in our communities who have come back and become clean, and they have testimonials, and you have like meetings every so often, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear some of the testimonies. I've been to some of the meetings that Mark and his organization has had, and you can hear and see, the people and their testimonies of how they overcome, opioid, and using drugs. And so it's great. And I know we got, listeners out there who have been there and done that in our community. And so, it's great to have that information available. Now, if any churches, businesses, organizations, municipal organizations want to get the training, how would they go about doing that?
They just give us a call. Last year, 2017, we did 76 such trainings out in the public. And we trained over 1,100 people and what to look for in terms of overdose prevention. We distributed over 800 naloxone kits free of charge.
Wow.
There were a couple of churches that got on board. I won't call names out. And there were others that we reached out to that didn't get back to us again, because of stigma. However, what I will say is we're about to open the state's first harm reduction drop-in center, and that's going to be, and it's targeted, toward people who may not traditionally enter the front door of services for whatever reason the barriers are. We're going to be at 555 Albany Avenue, and we're going to have a lot of non-traditional hours. So like right now, we're in the midst of the worst public health epidemic that our generation has come across, and the amount of deaths. Nationally in 2016, 64,000 people died.
Wow.
That's more than what died in Vietnam. Yet still, everybody is conducting business, if you will, in that same time frame, 9 to 5. And that's when a lot of the, activity takes place. A lot of people who are active hold jobs. Right. So they don't traditionally get to, so, hopefully by providing a safe location, a safe space, and it's right in the heart of, in the heart of things.
Right.
So we'll be able to address other folk who traditionally, may not reach out.
Okay. How do individuals get your service?
Just walk in the door.
Just walk in the door.
A lot of times people who know me because I've been doing this work for over 20 years, they'll flag me down in the street.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, Mark.
In the supermarket.
We laugh and joke. I say in between my seats, I've got crack pipes and condoms. And in the back, I've got syringes. So those who need access, know, and word of mouth is tremendous.
And here's the thing. I was out and on Farmington Avenue, Mark, he gave me a couple, kits, and I was just passing them out like candy, to people that need them. And they were like, great, thank you, Yeah, I needed this.
That's an area that's underserved.
Yeah.
We have several different initiatives aimed at expanding not just our reach, but reach to the services. We have a faith-based organization on Park Street that engages people. So we've developed something called a rover, the Harm Reduction Rover. It's a fully portable public health response to this epidemic. It allows an organization who may want to engage in the population but not necessarily know how to receive the training from us and the technical assistance, and we'll give them this rover, this portable unit that allows them to do syringe exchange, make sure people have condoms, safe sex kits. It's got all types of wound care stuff on it. So there's Band-Aids, bacitracin, alcohol pads, BZK, antiseptic towelettes, 2 different types of syringes, and a sharps container, all contained within this unit.
Right.
So we're giving that in 2 organizations without charge. As a pilot, there's information that we need in return to show the effectiveness,
Right.
but there's no cost to them. The training, the kit, it's all it's available to them.
Great. All right. Well, Mark, I tell you, man, it's great to have you on the programming. You're doing a great work in the community. Keep up the good work, and our community is definitely needed. And once again, tell your address to the public where they can go and get the training that's needed, information. Hey, listen, if you just even have a question, just go to his office and ask the question. I had the question. I knocked on your door and rang the doorbell, and I got the answer because I wanted to get more information about this subject. And it's just as easy just to do that.
We're going to have a community forum May 30th at Parker Memorial.
Okay.
And we're going to have some powerful people on the panel, but it's going to be a short panel because we really want to have conversation with the public. If you have questions, as you just stated, May 30th, 5:30, Parker Memorial Center. It's a forum. It's open to the public. We're going to have light refreshments and have a conversation, about where are we as a city?
Right.
Where are we in addressing this issue? And see what we can do.
And for those that are not comfortable, on this topic, you need to be there. And it's May 30th at the Parker Memorial, right in the inner city. Let's see how many of the community people show up.
Yeah, and what time on the 30th?
5:30.
5:30. Okay.
If it's free food, they're getting you something. We got free food. Come on out and get to eat on.
They'll be there for certain.
Yes. So, this much needed topic. May 30th, you want to be there at Parker Memorial, and to get more information, ask your questions. Hartford, make sure you tune in, and we'll get you more details. We'll have flyers, information we'll put out on the Hartford Community Leaders website, and also we'll do Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, the whole 9 yards. All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And we're gonna go for a break, Sister Trish. In about 5 minutes, we'll be back with you. We're gonna be going on a break for 2 minutes, and we're gonna have our next guest that is with us on today. All right. So we're gonna take a break in about 2 minutes, and yes, Hartford, we're here. Another edition of
Good
Hartford
enough. Well,
Community
welcome.
Leaders.
Hey,
I don't want
we
to
have a
program
lot
for
of
you today.
exciting guests and very useful information. And recently, the last couple of years, there's been a major increase of black-owned businesses in Hartford. One thing in downtown Hartford, I think we're up to like 6 black businesses, which is a record. And so that every week I'm going to be trying to have people come in from these different businesses and talk. And today we have Mr. Stefan Richmond. And he has a very interesting business, as you see, painting with a twist. And when I walked by there, I said, nah, painting with a twist, what is this? You know, and big, nice office or studio. I guess studio would be better. And folks can come in there and paint it. It's just like, wow. So, welcome, Stefan.
Thank you.
Now, for those that don't know, painting with a twist, what's that all about?
So we're located on 45 Pratt Street, downtown Hartford. It's one of the most prettiest streets, so beautiful streets downtown with the architecture. But it's what we would call a paint bar. It's a new genre. It's only been around for maybe 8 or 9 years. It actually started with this corporation. This is a franchise that started in New Orleans shortly after Hurricane Katrina. The 2 ladies that founded it saw a need in their community to do something. I won't say to pass the time, but they didn't have much after all the water receded. And so they started the business of what we call speed painting. They added wine later on down the line, and it took off. They started a few studios there in Covington, Louisiana, in New Orleans. And 8 years later, we have about 400 franchises. I'm number 336 here in Hartford. And what we do, like I said, we call it a paint bar, where we paint and we party. We tell people, you know, it's a little bit of paint, a little bit of wine, a whole lot of fun. We don't sit there like a library or a museum. We don't paint little tiny pictures in the quiet of our own mind, in the space of our own mind. We have a lot of fun. We're not like the other paint bars that are around in other cities, because we have quite a few that are outside of Hartford. Currently, I am the only one inside of Hartford, which I am not upset about, because brown people like to paint too. You know, so that's one of the reasons I brought it here. But so the theme is you would go online to our website, paintingwithatwist.com/Hartford. You'd see a painting that you like on our public calendar. You'd sign up for same price every time, $35. If we ever go higher, it's because it's a larger, longer 3-hour, 4-hour course, or it's a nonprofit event. So pretty much we stay at $35. Children pay $25, typically on Saturday mornings, early Saturday afternoons. Private parties are pretty much the same cost. We don't charge you for the room or anything like that, but you would come in during that public time, order yourself some drinks. We have a full wine bar, beer and hard cider, no hard alcohol. Primarily our customers are 90% women. They would drag their husbands and boyfriends and friends out for the day, but we do have paintings for everyone. We have a gallery of 10,000 paintings, a portfolio of 10,000 paintings. Wow. So there is something for everyone. If you see here, was one of our monthly calendar rack cards. It won't fit everything we're doing for the month, but it'll fit most of the things we're doing for the month. You go online, Facebook. We're very popular on Facebook right now, where we actually show some videos of us partying. We post pictures of our groups after every class. We're on Instagram at PWAT_Hartford. And it's just a fun time. People come in and we don't tell them to put their phones away. They naturally put their phones away. They want to pay attention to the artists. We have 2 independent sound systems where we play music. Right. Again, we're not playing your grandma's music unless your grandma's there. We'll throw on some Tony Bennett or some old school, music. But we'll play the crowd. Whatever the crowd is, we'll play that music, and then we'll have a great time. We do at least 2 giveaways per class. Giveaways can range from anything from a candy bar to a pen to a glass to one of these cups you see on the table to a free class. I gave away a free class recently because we play a lot of games. The paint has to dry, right? So once we do the background, we'll take a 10-minute break. Let that dry naturally while we're playing anything from charades to hot potato or some type. We don't play drinking games because everybody but we have rules. No whining, only whining from the bar. But again, it is a lot of fun. People come in with preconceived notions. Oh, I'm not here. I don't know how to paint. We got 5 great artists. They teach them one of the artists. They teach you everything there is to know for that particular painting that you chose. And before that night's over, we're going to get you there. And I tell people all the time, you don't like your painting? Have another glass of wine. Have another beer. It'll come together. But ultimately, everybody leaves with something they're happy with. We stay affordable to the community. We don't hit you over the head with our prices. A glass of wine will cost you costs you $8. We run specials all the time. A bottle of wine to save you $5. It'll cost you $27. So we make it economical for the people that we look to serve, and that is the Hartford community. So,
Great. It's just, when I first walked by it, I said, wow, look at this, painting with a twist. Now, I'm trying to understand that, but the place, the gallery, the studio is set up so nice and well organized, well lit, and just...
yeah, I lucked up on that building. I
Oh, you
really
did?
did.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it was Stackpole Tuesdays before. And so
Oh.
I happened to be walking by with a realtor for the building, and I
Uh-huh.
wanted to see the upstairs.
Right,
And
right.
he started taking me through the clothing store, and I'm like, hey, wait,
Mhm.
we need to go through the clothing store to get upstairs. He's like, no, I thought you wanted this space. I'm like, well, is it available? He's like, it is now.
Mhm.
And so I really lucked up. I mean, nothing but windows.
Mhm.
The building, as you
Mhm.
know, 45 Pratt next to the Society Room is gorgeous.
Mhm.
And it's eye candy. It just
Yeah.
looks, you just want to be inside.
Mhm.
And
Definitely
then if you
inviting.
walk by in the evening, anytime after 6 o'clock, particularly on a Friday or Saturday, you will see us in there having a great time. This past Mother's Day weekend,
Mhm.
we did several events to where we did a Mommy and Me on Saturday morning.
Mhm.
Later Saturday evening, we had a private birthday party of about 25 people. And then on Friday evening, we had a very large crowd. They painted that painting we see behind me, Queenie,
Okay.
which is one of our most popular paintings. A lot of our black art is very popular, and that's across the franchises,
And,
not just in Hartford.
And I want Sister Trish to pan over to that painting that he just referred
Yes.
to.
So in the middle there, you have Queenie. She's our second bestseller across the nation. The first is that Happy Hydrangeas there. It sold over 20,000 seats. And one of the most popular kids paintings is that Flower Crown Unicorn. And again, a lot of these franchises, there's about a good, I'm going to say 13 or 14 of us black owned out of the 400. The most successful in Detroit, in the Detroit, Michigan area. But again, the most popular paintings that we have in the franchise, a lot of them are the black female, I call them the black female power pieces, right? Because first and foremost, again, 90% of our clientele are women. But when black women see themselves in these paintings,
Right.
they come out to paint them because it's
Wow.
what they want on their walls. And you can't turn that away.
That's
You know,
right.
you can't, no matter where you are in Tennessee, Florida, no matter who owns that studio or what community it's in, their number one bestsellers are a lot of the black women power pieces.
Wow.
And so that, and you got the other spectrum, which are the flowers and the hydrangeas and the roses and things like that. But it's been, so far, we've been open since March 22nd. Hartford's been great to us, especially when people find out that I own it. It opens them up more, they're more relaxed. And typically apprehensive about partying, if you will, with people they don't know.
Right.
We tell them, hey, put your purses away in the cubbies. No one's going to steal them. We have room. We have cameras everywhere. And then once we get them in a room, we relax. You get our artists, our comedians. They're the funniest people ever. We look to have a great time, and then when we play these games that we play during our breaks, we get people interacting with each other. So a lot of times after the event, they exchange numbers, or they've seen somebody. People walk in with the big giant windows off the street and see somebody they know, and they'll come in and they'll order a drink because they can't pay because we've already started. But then I'll see them again next week. So we already have quite a few, I'm going to say 20 or so return customers who come back every other week. Because again, you don't want to show up just for a event because it takes out of your wallet. But we got it priced to where you can do it if you wanted to every week or every other week. Because again, people put away their phones, they shut the outside world out. And once they're there, we have their full divided attention. And a lot of times, they don't want to leave. So typically Friday night, Saturday night, our last class ends at either 11:30 or midnight.
Wow.
They will stick around if you let them till 1:30 in the morning. It's like, all right, we'll clean up around you. Maybe you get the message. Throw on some Michael Jackson, some old school ABC, but they'll start dancing to that. So everybody wants to hang out, but it is a very good time. If you check us out on Facebook, Painting with the Twist Hartford on Facebook, you'd see some of the posts that people put out there, some of the posts that we put out there, but it's something that Hartford needs, right? Because once you reach an age, right, somebody says, let's go out. It's all right, what bar are we going to go to? What restaurant are we going to pay more money for? Or what club are we going to go try to stand in looking like old people? So we need that, I call alternative entertainment. So when somebody says, let's go out, you now have choices, right? And if you say, let's go out with your husband or your boyfriend or fiance, and they don't want to go, you can bring them painting because they can paint most of the things we have, and they don't want to paint. You say, okay, I'll drop you off here for the next 2 hours. I'm gonna go next door to the bar, watch the game or things like that, or go across the street to the hot dog stand. So we wanted to make it to where once you come down, there's a reason now to come downtown. For those who are working, there's a reason now to stay downtown a few extra hours. And then the great thing about it is you get to take the artwork home and put it on your wall. And if ever you're unhappy, we have what's called SOS. I can't remember what SOS means, but Save Our Sundays or Save Our Paintings, whatever. On Sundays or Saturday, for free, you come for 2 hours, and if you're unhappy with your painting, we'll touch it up. We'll help you touch it up. We'll start over if you want to. It's your free 2 hours because you've already paid for that painting. So if ever you got a little bit too happy with the wine, you come in, on that one Sunday a month, and we'll sit there with you and we'll fix that painting. So that way it's something you want to hang on your wall. We never leave anybody hanging or out to dry because it's your money, you pay for it. People often come in and say, hey, I want my dress to be blue. I want to do, like last night, Mother's Day, we did Sisters Praising, one of my favorite pictures. And a group of women there were from the islands, and they wanted to have one of the dresses were red, yellow, and silver. So they wanted the silver one to be green to match their flag. I was like, no problem. We gave them green paint, and the instructions are the same. We're up on stage cracking jokes. We're mic'd up so they can hear us, and we just changed the steps a little bit for those women who want green or want gold hair or red hair as opposed to anything else. And one of the greatest things is that Hartford is like anywhere else in the country, race is always an issue, right? So I get women all the time that say, well, I can't paint this picture because it's a black woman. I'm like, no, you can paint this picture. Who says you can't? It's paint.
That's
So
right.
you paint for the skin you're in.
That's
So
right.
we help people. We literally turn over their hand and we say, all right, let's get your skin tone. So last time we did Queenie and King Me, it's a set where King, we had Puerto Ricans in a room, we had some black folks in a room, and we had white folks in a room. And I said, hey, for everybody, you paint the skin you're in. And then we we have artists floating around the floor, so we have a stage artist and our regular other stage artists who aren't on stage at the time. They'll float around the room and give instruction. So with that, we go to each person and say, hey, do you want her to be a lighter skin, a lighter brown? Do you want her to be your complexion if you're not black or Puerto Rican? People go, yes, I do. And then we're helping with that. And by the end, this is one of our best classes. I think it's our second best class as far as in diversity, because we take a picture on the stage with everybody at the end of every class. And to see that one picture done 34 different ways, because someone wanted their hair flipped out, somebody wanted a bob, somebody wanted an afro, somebody wanted white skin, somebody wanted lighter skin, so somebody wanted dark like them. So it was amazing, right? Because that's what we want to achieve, somewhere to where we can all be happy and we can all do the same thing while remaining individuals. But Hartford, like I said, it's been good. The business is good. They're certainly not complaining about the late night partying, but it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Well, one thing definitely, you recruited me because you keep mentioning that the majority of your clients are women. So I got to sing about women, so I think I'll be stopping in a little more.
Well, we're gonna start soon. I'm gonna try one in June. We're gonna try doing a First Fridays mingle to where we still paint a picture. We want to do it probably around an 8 to 10 class so people can still go out if they so choose to. But we're going to try to make it to where everyone can come and it's not, the art won't be woman-centric. And then you can rely on being First Fridays where somebody can come out. Because, again, I posted on my LinkedIn last night, that we added the word social to the word networking. Then all of a sudden it meant technology. And neither one of those terms means technology when it comes to human interaction. So we're trying to remove the technology from the actual social networking. Because you come here, you socialize, you grab some wine. If you don't like wine, we only charge $1 for our soda and our juices and free water. Oh, I forgot to mention, we have a full free gourmet coffee bar, tea, hot chocolate. Sorry to the women on Mother's Day when I ran out of hot chocolate, but we give that bottle of water. We give that stuff away for free.
Wow.
And again, the sodas and the juices and things like that, the carbonated beverages, it's only $1. Snacks only $1. Because again, we don't want to dig in your pockets. I have 3 children to feed and a wife at home, so yes, I need to raise mine and pay the bills. But at the same time, I believe I can do that and serve the community at the same time without having to break people.
That's
You know,
right.
separate them from their paychecks.
That's right.
And I think once people realize that, you get some people to complain. And one young lady walk in, well, how much do it cost? I'm like, because you asked me that, no matter what I tell you, it's gonna be too much. What do you mean? I'm like, well, if you asking, it doesn't matter what I tell you, because you already have your mind made up, I can tell. She goes, well, how much is it? $35. Well, that's too much. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
If you go to other paint bars in West Hartford, Glastonbury, outside of our area, they charge you anywhere between $35 and $65.
Wow.
You see, so I'm like, you're welcome to go there. Someone got upset that you offered drinks with your ticket price. And again, I said, if you go to other places, they charge you $55 and $65, and it includes a drink.
That's right.
I'll be happy to charge you $60 to paint. I'll take my $35 out for the painting. And guess what? That other $25, you could have bought your whole bottle of wine.
That's right.
But since you only want one drink, I'll give you one drink for the $25. So some people want to come in and be empowered, if you will, to make demands before they realize what we have to offer. So I just ask everyone to give us a chance.
That's
Get in
right.
there, give us that one class. And if we don't change our mind in that one class, then we're not, I can't say we're doing something wrong,
Right.
but you know, you're basically a hard person to please.
That's right.
You're a hard person to please. You
Right.
can't please everybody. But for the
Right.
most part, we've been doing a damn good job at servicing the community.
Sounds so.
Yeah, definitely.
My 4 artists, we have a Jamaican artist, his name is Webb. He's a promising stand-up comedian. I have a young guy who I love to death, his name is Joel Acosta. He's a Puerto Rican Spanish-speaking artist. We have Kim, she's out of Massachusetts, but she's just moved to Connecticut. She has the most experience. I call her my artist manager. She keeps everybody in line. And I have a guy who's graduating in a couple of weeks from school in design. Kimmy also has a degree in fine arts. Chris is one of our talented. We call him Slim Jim for short. So Slim Jim, if you happen to be watching, he's the young chiseled guy that all the women scream over and crack jokes when he's on stage. So we have a great range of artists who can entertain. If you want to do an all women's night and you want your artists to be women, go for it. You know, Spanish speaking, we got you covered. You know, so we want to bring everybody together.
That's right.
And so far, so good. White, black, or other, it has been great. Private parties have been great. People have been booking private. Everybody has a birthday. Every day is somebody's birthday. So celebrate it with us, right? So celebrate it with us. And again, it's only for a few hours. And then you get to go on about your day and do the things you want to do. I had someone celebrate their 21st birthday. She didn't want to paint. She didn't want to do any of it. Parent surprised her. It went off. It was wonderful. And the reason they had it early, and she was like, well, why so early? Because your parents said it's your 21st birthday. So you wanted to go out and get turned, as you all say. So they're going to allow you to do that after we finish here. She was like, okay, you know. So and that's exactly what happened. Her and her friends were like, all right, we're out of here. You know, they got their paints, put their paints in the car, and they went out for the rest of the night. But even if you're walking by, you want to come in, stop in, say hello, take a tour. We're happy to give you a tour. I'm there typically every day after 4 or 5 o'clock because I do have a day job. You know, the hustle does not stop. Just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean you give up everything else. Because again, I have babies to feed. But it is a great place, and it's something that's good for Hartford. And I brought it here because if not us, then who else?
That's right.
Right? We don't start looking after then who else is going to look
That's
after us?
right. That's
You
right.
can't keep saying we need this or Hartford doesn't have this.
That's right.
Sometimes it's time for us to put our money where our mouth is.
That's
And I
right.
necessarily didn't have the money, but I had the wherewithal and I had the will to stand in long lines at City Hall, to stand in places and say, okay, I need help. You know, I found, and I must shout out the Connecticut Economic Development Fund for helping me with this project. Guys out of, I guess a Yukon offshoot, but they help. It's a group of banks that help fund projects, whether you're male, woman, just small business projects. So shout out to them for helping a lot. But again, we keep saying if, and Hartford doesn't have. At some point you got to stop.
That's
right.
right.
You know, at some point you got to stop, and you have to make it happen.
That's right.
So that way it really gives us no excuse, no excuse at all. So, and I'm from Chicago. I've been here for almost 20 years.
Wow.
My kids born and raised here, so I'm pretty much from here. So I figured this was long enough. I'm well rooted. So it's time for me to start transitioning out of what I currently do now, which is engineering law, and into something different, something more relaxing. something hopefully that will be able to sustain me in my retirement, hopefully within the next 4 or 5 years. And it's something where my kids can see, man, Daddy works every day, he enjoys it, and they don't have to collect a check from someone, because ultimately, if our jobs or careers say, no thank you, you know, and send us home, what do we have? We have that experience from that particular job, but what else do we have? I don't want to say to fall back on, but what else do we have to look forward to? So for me, this is laying down legacy, right? So just in case that does happen, you know, I can keep it moving.
Okay, and we got Kayla Taylor Williams. Said, great job, cuz, blessings.
Hey, cousin. That's my cousin.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say she's my little cousin. We're 3 years apart. Love you. Thank you.
And it's just, like I said, I walk by this place, painting with a twist. What the heck is that all? But I tell you, once you go by there, you go in, it's just like, wow, it just really adds something. You know, people always come in, there's nothing going on in Hartford. First of all, you must live in a cave somewhere, because there's always a jazz concert, a reggae show, a seminar on something. And this is, 5 days a week?
We try to do 5 days a week, but we're still trying to figure out the community. So currently we do Wednesdays through, well, really every day, because private parties are every day. But for our public classes, Wednesdays through Saturdays. Come June, I'm going to throw every other Sunday. For faith-based, we have a lot of faith-based paintings, and so I'm going to start going to the churches and handing out a lot of these cards and tell people, hey, after church, you don't have to go home and get undressed and relax, you know, and just wait for Monday to happen, wait for work to come around again. Stay out, you know, come down and have a good time. And so, but yeah, like I said, I'm from Chicago, and people say, why Hartford and Chicago? I came here for the work, for the engineering work. However, I stayed because of the quality of life, right? At the same time, I tell people Hartford is just like Chicago. It's just smaller. The demographics are pretty much the same. The hustle of the people, the attitude of the people is pretty much the same. The culture is here. The arts are here. There's always something to do. It's just it's a microcosm. It's just a smaller version. And I can't say without all of the violence and things, but that's in every city. Right? That's uncontrollable, because some people just do what they feel they have to do. But again, me being from that large city, this is just like there, to where if somebody said they're bored and there's nothing to do, that means you're a boring person.
That's right.
You don't choose to get out and go discover, like the Jazz in the Parks that's coming up every Monday for free, where you got thousands of people in the park. I mean, we just got plenty to do here, and I'm glad I can just add to that culture of the city.
Great. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
And you know me, I'm the president of the Get Out of the Hood movement. So here's something right downtown, a whole new world. You know, it's just, you know, I don't know, nothing to do in Hollywood, you know, but anyway. But thank you very much. Check it out. Without a doubt, you'll be impressed, and you might want to try to become an artist.
Yes, everybody's an artist. Fun art, not fine art, right?
Yeah,
fun art, not fine.
Okay, great. Now, that's one or two new businesses. The next one, a brother from Nigeria has opened up a pharmacy on Albany Avenue. Okay, so we have a black-owned pharmacy in Hartford. He's located between the Golden Cross and Mr. Tinker's Insurance Company, right along in there, and it's Cure RX Pharmacy. They do make deliveries. It's 1156 Albany Avenue, actually, and the phone number is 860-206-3890. And I will be trying to get this gentleman in, Mr. Anthony, get him something else interesting going on in our town, and a black-owned pharmacy. Wow. So, you know, tune in every week. Some good information, great people, and you don't want to miss anything. Okay? Yeah. Now, a couple of things I'd like to mention real quick. Oh, yes. It's voting time. It's time to get ready to register to vote. You know what we always say, or at least what I always say.
We got about 5 more minutes left.
Oh, yeah. If you don't vote, it's like messing with dope. It ain't no hope. The other thing, Thursday, May 17th, is going to be an on-site interview and hiring event right in this building. Workforce Service Department, first floor, Workforce Service Department, here at the college. We'll get ready to say the Colin Bennett, the Vita building. 28 Sergeant Street. And there's going to be employers and people to help you get ready for your job interview and employment. Another thing, Mount Olive Church is having a Men's Day at the Mount, calling all men this Sunday from 8 in the morning until 10:30. That's Mount Olive Church on Battle and Main, and it's going to be a great event. So if you can stop by. And for those that like the arts, they're having a Arts on the Street. This is beginning in June. There's going to be live music and artists doing all type of stuff. And once again, hopefully we will be able to get somebody in here to talk about this event. But it looks very interesting, and they're starting the publicity early. You know, sometimes we like to wait till the last minute. Something else real quick. Have you thought about quitting smoking? Join the Freedom from Smoking Quit group. They meet at the Hartford Public Library Thursdays at 3 o'clock. They will be meeting this Thursday at 3 o'clock, also the 28th of this month and the 31st of this month. It's the Join the Freedom from Smoking Quit Club. And Rashid Banks, 860-372-6369. For more information, you can contact her. But this sounds like something a lot of us want to do. What do you got real quick? Free legal help for you who have a record. Okay? They provide you how to help you erase your record, help you get a driver's license, and to stay in school or go back to school, and get benefits like food stamps and cash assistance. For information, you can call 860-570-5327. And this sounds like a group that we would want to have somebody else come in and talk about it. And also, all aboard, CT Rail Hartford line, starting in about a month on June the 16th. There's going to be a train running from New Haven to Springfield. They're going to 2 stops in New Haven, one in Wallingford, Meriden, Berlin, Windsor, Windsor Lock, and Springfield. And they're going to be adding some more in the future. So this is something else. We'll probably have somebody come in and talk about that. But it's the New Haven to Springfield Rail Program. It's going to start on June 16th. So if you want to go down to New Haven, something is happening, which they almost as much happening as we have here, jump on the train. Same thing with Springfield. So, and don't forget, once again, time to register to vote.
All right. All right, we're going to have Lakia give us a little talk. We got about a minute.
What you want me to talk about?
Oh, just say hello to the
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, all right.
You should talk about your trip coming up.
I'm be in North Carolina this week for the International Music Summit in North Carolina, and you can go on the website International Music Summit in North Carolina coming up this Thursday, Friday. Still time to register today only. All right.
Now, when they say international music, well, you know me, I'm a reggae fanatic, so they're going to have reggae, gospel.
It'll be musicians from all over